Hey guys, I'm Carrie,
I'm Lindsay.
and welcome back to our third episode of Beautiful Chaos.
We just want to say thank you real quick to everyone who has watched our videos. We have over 140 views on each of the videos that we had so far. I believe we have 33 or so subscribers, and we are just so excited that you guys are following along with us. We've had plenty of positive feedback, so we are so thankful for that. So let's get to it.
Yeah, we apologize for last episode. It was a little long, but I think it went well. I enjoyed it. Today our main topic, I can't say that we won't go off topic because that's what we do, but our main topic is to discuss how we met our significant others.
Yes.
If you notice, we're kind of going in sequence to our lives.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about how we met our significant others.
Yep.
So
I guess first question would be, how did you meet Chris? How did that all come about? What ages were you first? Because
I only met him right before we started dating. I never knew about him, nothing about him.
Mm-hmm.
Never crossed paths, and it's crazy because he would be like, I would be talking about certain people, and he's like, "That's my cousin," or "What?" I hang out with those people. How did we never cross paths? And I was like, because we weren't meant to cross paths
at that time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it was about 11, 12 years ago. Concept of time is non-existent to me, but my brother and his wife were renovating the house down below.
Yeah.
And he chose his dad's company. And at first I didn't know anything about them. When they first got here, my dad must have gone out there to introduce himself or whatever. Yeah. And he comes upstairs and he tells my mom and I, "Oh, it's a nice small company. Right. It's a dad and his two sons." So now I've been single now for about 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. So now my mom's like, "Nobody's gonna come knocking on your door." You know, all this, literally, right? So mom right away was like, "Are they single?" And because dad was like,
matchmaker mom.
Yeah, dad was like, "I asked, and one's married, one has a girlfriend." Mm-hmm. Now I'm mortified because I'm like, excuse me? I did not even ask about any of this. So anyway, the first time we laid eyes on each other was, you know how I had a den? Mm-hmm. And then if you went further, you go down into a lower part of under the house. And I called it the dungeon. Mm-hmm. So he was in the back room and he came out. And when I say he stopped dead in his tracks, like that, to the point where I look behind me because I'm like, what's he looking at? So then from then on, I swear it was like every day he had to. Meanwhile, my boy's got a girlfriend, right? So I'm not even paying attention. So one day he says to me, we had an issue with the homeschool, and he came to my rescue, he says. And after school, he was like, "That was some crazy stuff that went on." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I got loads of stuff that I could, tell you." And he's like, "Oh, well, you will have to sit down one day and you got to tell me all about it, right?" So me, me, I'm like, "Well, if and when you ever get rid of your girlfriend, come check me." Because I'm like,
Yeah.
So, he would, if I'm going to take the trash out, he would drop everything and run to the stairs. I was like, I can take my trash.
So cute.
So, and then there was one day I was in my bedroom, I was cleaning the fan, and my mirror was facing to the window so I could see. And I could see he was hoofing up the backyard with these heavy things. And then as soon as he got to my window, he slowed down and he was peeking in my window. I said, "You are something else." So the job ends and I was like, "Okay, nice meeting you guys. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
Have a nice life, basically. I'll never see you guys again." So, I don't know, maybe it was about a month and a half, 2 months later, I got a friend request.
On Facebook?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I see it's him. And I'm like, So, I go on his page and I'm like, I see his status. He says he's single. So, I was like, oh okay. So I added him. And about 5 minutes later, my boy sends me a private message and says,
"This is funny. You'll know why in a minute."
Yeah. He says, remember you told me if and when I ever got rid of my girl to come check you? Wow.
Here I am.
Yeah, it's like, here we go. So I was like, okay. Left his number. Like, he was like on it. So went, he asked me, on a date. And I've never been on a date before, really, So I said, okay, fine. And we went.
Where'd you guys go?
The aquarium.
Aww.
And then he wanted to go to eat, and I don't eat out. So I was like, well, I'll watch you eat. So we went to Switzerland afterwards. And then we went around to like, my family, like my aunt, we went,
Right.
he was all like it.
He
right?
must have known.
I don't know, but.
He must have been like, this is the one.
Yep. So that was the end of August was our first date. And then the following June, we got married.
Nice.
I laid it out. The first date,
yeah.
I was like, I'm not here to play games.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of a person, so I know you just got out of a serious relationship.
Because how old were you guys by that time?
I was 32.
Okay, so yeah, you definitely were in
31,
that.
32.
You're definitely in that age of not messing around.
No, I wanted family.
Yeah.
I wanted to settle down. So I said, I know you're just coming out of a serious relationship. If you want to just have fun for a little while, check you later.
Yeah.
I'm not vibing with any of that.
Yeah.
So, I said, I want to get married. I want to do all this stuff. And then his profile pic was of him and his nephew at the time, who was a baby.
Right.
And he says to me, I had my sister take that picture so I could score points with you.
Sorry.
I was like,
how funny.
Taking a picture of a child doesn't mean
you're
going to be a good dad.
I swear males are like, let's have the kids with us, and then the women just flock to us.
Yeah. So, June 1st, we were married, and in October, I got pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was good. And then you guys were at the age where you guys pretty much knew already what you wanted, what you didn't want it. So
right.
I feel like as you get older, some people are like, oh, you jump into things too quick. And it's like, no, because you already know what you don't want, what do you want, and time's a ticking. And yeah, so.
I was, I don't know. This next part, I don't know. But I was going to save this. But on that date, first date, he told me he had a vision when he was little or young, and that he wouldn't live past 40.
Oh.
Right? So, of course.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, a friend of his had said he kind of always knew for some reason. She said he used to say that, and they as friends would say, don't say that. And he must have had a sixth sense about it or something, because he did tell his friends that too. Because the mutual friend that him and I have that I told you about, she was like, it's a shock, but it's like he had always, even when he was younger, like when he got a bike and stuff, he would say, I'm not going to live very long. And they would say, don't say that. Like, you just got a bike. Like, you're going to get a bike out, because
he tells me this as he's eating whatever he was eating at Switzerland, and I was like, keep quiet. Like, I was just like, stop it. Because there's a lot of people that do say, based on how they're currently living, who say, I'll be surprised if I live past 50 or whatever. Yeah. So I thought that's what he meant.
Yeah.
So never thought about it again. We got married. We had kids. So naturally,
you don't think of those things. Yeah.
So
because I actually thought you guys got together while he was working here. I didn't realize it was after the fact that you had. So
there were rumors.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But contrary to popular belief,
that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
The thing I remember about him the most is his infectious smile. Like, because I hadn't really known. I'd known of like the family, like through the grapevine kind of thing, but didn't really know them. And then when I met him through you, I'm like, he just has this infectious smile. Like, I couldn't imagine him grumpy. Like, did he ever get grumpy?
Oh yeah.
Really? Oh, I didn't have those moments. I just like every time he was with you, he was just smiling away and.
Yeah, he he had a lot issues. She's like, can I be on it today? I was like, no, not like that. But no, I mean, we just vibed well. You know, it was weird how it just, everything just, and our wedding, I think he proposed to me in the beginning of March. His sister last year was last March. Yeah, it had to be March. Because she was like, do you know what today is? I was like, no. And then she's the one who told me. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so we got engaged in March and then married June 1st. Everything from planning, we didn't want this big, huge thing. Yeah. It just went, he basically let me do everything. Even right down to what he wore. He was okay. He was like, I know I'm wearing pink. That's, but I didn't care. I'm not one of those, like I told the girls, I said, whatever you guys, I want this color, but you pick whatever dress you feel is comfortable for you. I don't care about all that. He picked our wedding song.
Aww.
And in fact, I only just found out, he never told me this, but he apparently told my mom. He was driving one day and the song came on and he started crying and realized that's the song. So I didn't hear the song until when we danced.
Right.
So of course the other night I was having sleep issues like I do every night, but I was watching this new movie that came out, and in it, because it was in the middle of the night, I had my headphones on so I didn't disturb Bella. But meanwhile, I'm cracking up at it out loud. So, and then all of a sudden the group starts singing this song, and I'm like, I know those words. What are those words? It was my wedding song. So now I'm ugly crying.
That was him letting you know that he was around.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and it's been
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
The rest is history.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's so cool when it just kind of flows like that, right?
Yeah.
And there's no real major, like everyone has their ups and downs, but like I think you feel like you're in the right one when it's like kind of coming natural to you. Like it's not, when it's forced or you feel like you're putting so much work into it, I'm like, I don't know, is that really right for you?
No, exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Like you might love them like crazy, but at the same time, like if you feel like you're forcing it or that you're doing more work in it, or it shouldn't feel like excessive work, in my opinion.
No, it should just...
and I think as you get older, you realize like I'm not chasing anybody, I'm not checking phones, I'm not like there's just certain things that you just put those boundaries up, right? That you've learned from when you were younger, and you're just like not doing that, have no time for that, So
yeah, no, and in fact, like he always liked my sauciness. Right.
Do you feel like you two balance each other out? Like, do you feel like...
I did. When I think things started getting a bit rough, and it was a lot of me taking it on was when he got his diagnosis with his heart condition.
Right.
Because then it turned to a different level where now I'm like every day for however long, because this happened we found out in 2018. So every day I was like scared.
Right. And for him, was it genetic or was it lifestyle or was it both? Do you think? Both.
I would say both.
Yeah.
I just felt mainly, but really it was mainly lifestyle, because he could have reversed it.
Right.
He could have reversed it. But it's hard. It really is difficult when you see someone who needs help. And my heart broke for him. Like I noticed the week before he passed, I would just find myself staring at every inch of him, like just trying to take, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm like, I'm just making sure, you're, wasn't that your tattoo? I don't know, like,
yeah.
But you know, it was, I don't know, it was fun. I mean, you know, and then when we had kids, I felt like every time I looked at him, I got pregnant. It's like when it was time for me to come off the pill, my OB was like, "Now you got to give yourself a while," like, because I had been on it straight since I was young. So she's like, "You know, your body is gonna go through all
they
these
say
things."
that, and I'm not. I got pretty quickly out right after. I'm pretty sure I was like, stop next day. It was like,
oh
right
yeah, you know, I was, you know, that we were like, what? So yeah, there was, you know, the first one with Bella, and then I did get pregnant again, but I miscarried.
Oh.
Which is fine. I was okay. It wasn't too far along.
Right.
You know, it's a loss, but it wasn't meant to be, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then again, the doctor was like, "Okay, you're gonna have to give your body some time. Just take a break." That happened in September. October, I was pregnant again with.
Yeah.
So obviously October is my month.
Your prime mating.
Yeah.
Not mating.
Because
sorry.
oh yeah, no, you know, that's what they said. They were like, "Oh, well, we know when you're fertile."
Right.
Like really fertile. But a plant, you know, it wasn't planned. I happened to keep all of Bella's stuff just in case.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like 5 days apart. So this I mean, it was great because I didn't have to buy clothes really.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, what happens when they get older? Because right now it's okay to share birthdays. But when they get older, So within 5 days, I got a plan. Yeah, but so back to the wedding though. I guess you can tell me about your experience too. But when we went to go meet with the pastor, he's talking. He says, "Okay, so are you guys gonna write your own vows?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna remember them." And he says, "Okay, so you'll just repeat after me." I said, "Yep, but do not put anything in there about submitting, obeying, honoring, because I'm just gonna stay quiet."
She's a modern woman.
And so, of course, Chris was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, no, because honestly, if they were to do that as a joke, I'd have been like, your turn." So yeah, but I find that with me and Chris, like, he got me. He actually got me too well. Because like I said in a previous episode, he was the one who told me about social anxiety, which I didn't know. I didn't know that there's different areas of it. You know, and I felt I got him. It was just, he obviously didn't open up. He didn't let me fully in because
I think that's part being Portuguese and part being male. You know what I mean? Is what I would gather from it. You know what I mean? Because they're not, you know, a lot of males are kind of portrayed as weak if they open up and show emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and we're also, women and men are also wired differently anyways. We're very emotional, they're very physical, so sometimes that's the challenge as well. But
he, you know, I felt he
was great for the girls.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
anytime I saw him,
Absolutely.
I remember he came to Jaden's birthday party with the girls, and I'm going, oh, poor sight. And I'm going, Carrie Dawn left him by himself with these girls, and he, bless him, he was such a champ.
Was he bouncing,
like? Well, he was like, he was chill. He was pretty chill. He was sweating by the end of it, though. By the end of it, he was sweating.
Yeah.
Because he was just, they were bouncing. You know, they both were very good, well behaved, but of course there was two of them, and they were going in different directions.
Yeah.
Like. So, but no, he was. I from what I recall, you know, anytime I saw him with the girls, he was just so. And he looked like he was such a good girl dad. Like he would, like, you know,
he said he wanted a boy, and I was like, the baby that we lost had to have been a boy.
I just feel like he looked like a girl dad.
Yeah. Oh, he absolutely was. Yeah. He wanted to try again, and I was like, nope. To and through. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh,
the one that you posted of you guys in the fort, and you put that, you know, you guys wish you could have him to follow again. Oh my god, that broke my heart. It was so cute. She goes, Daddy, I'm scared.
I'm scared,
And he
Daddy.
goes, just
And then
follow.
hurry, Mommy, at the
And
end.
then he goes, just follow Daddy. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to start crying. Let me stop.
And then my mom,
Okay.
she's like, you got me again. And I was like,
It was
I'm sorry,
so
but this is...
freaking sweet. I'm like, oh my God, that broke my heart. And it's like, I just love that you had that experience. You know, like, I hate the fact that it was short-lived for you. Like, you of all people, like, I've known you as a mom. Like, from when we were little, I knew she's going to get married. She's going to have kids. Like, she's going to be the home mom. Like, that's just, you know, and then when you had other relationships and stuff that didn't work out. And then when you got Chris, and I was like, oh my gosh, she got her marriage, she got her children. I'm like, this is what she's always wanted.
Yeah.
And then when it was taken away, you know, your husband was taken away, I was like, this is just so unfair. Like, I was, because I heard through the grapevine, right? Because obviously Bermuda is so bloody small. And I messaged you and I was just like, please tell me this is not true. Like, I was gutted for you because I'm like, the girls, like, this is what you've always wanted, you know? And then the girls are so young and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try not to cry because we're going to try and keep this not so, you know?
Yeah.
But I was just like, how unfair is that? Like, that I think the unfairness of it got to me. And I'm just like, and then I went into like, oh my God, you know, how is she going to take care of the girls? How is she, you know, like, I'm like, my whole mind just had so many emotions when I heard that. And then when you confirmed it, I was just completely devastated for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, this is what she's always wanted. And I thought, I'm not just like, and it's times like that which make me feel like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what is the freaking point? Because, you know what I mean? Like, he was amazing. You know, you guys, yeah. So it's obviously things happen for a reason, and you know, I know.
For me, I like when we got married, I was planning on spending the rest of my life with him. I didn't realize it was the rest of his life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like, just the other day, I'm like, my friend's a widow. I'm like, she's freaking not even like in her 50s or 60s or stuff.
Right.
Like, you think of, I know it's you know, you don't think of widows as young people, right? You think of them as older people who have spent lifetimes with their partners. And I'm like, my friend is...
Which is why because obviously I was told about there's a widows support group and stuff. And I opted out of it because I don't... In fact, another friend who lost her husband, but, you know, no children or anything, but still, it doesn't matter. You know, when they weren't married long, and that was devastating. She was the one who's been helping me out with advice on, you know, different things, and I opted out of it because I don't think I could sit there and listen to people right now. People talk about their 50+ year marriage, and I'm in awe of marriages that last that long, because it's so, you know, it doesn't.
Yeah, it would really be great to have a support group for younger people, because I'm sure, you know, it happens through health, through accidents, through all kinds of unfortunate events, you know, so it would be great. If any of you know a support group that's for maybe younger widows or widowers in Bermuda, please let us know, because I don't know of one. We probably need to do some research, but there would be great if there was one. Maybe it's something that needs to be looked into for sure.
You know, it might be something I could do. I just think it was too soon for me.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would have opened up.
Yeah.
Like
we're going to be in the next video where actually it will be Chris's 1 year from his departure, from his passing. And we will be making a tribute to him for our next episode. And we're definitely going to dive into more about, you know, his passing, how she's, you know, coped in the beginning, how she's coping now, just questions that I have too, right? Like, just before we start, I said, you know, I would love to know how a friend can support her through these journeys, you know, because, you know, sometimes you don't want to say the wrong thing, or sometimes you're just like, I don't know, do you want me, do you not want me? Like, what, you know, you just don't know how to, you know, because I've never gone through this as a friend, so, you know, I don't know how to be supportive for her. So I would love for her to share, you know, what are things that maybe irritated you about that people did, or what things that were comforting for you. And everyone's different too, right? Just because it worked for her, it doesn't work for her. But it'd be good to know, I think, just to help support, right? Because, you know, this is going to be a journey for Carrie. She has 2 young daughters, and, you know, this is now the rest of her life, right? So she has to navigate this, and there is no textbook for life ever. So as much as we would love to have step-by-step guide, it doesn't work that way, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. So he was, you know, he was a good dad. We were a good team as well. So obviously I do the homeschool, and I was home with the girls. Or I am home. That hasn't changed. But so there'll be times where he walks in the door and I'm just like, Tag, you're it.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. And he would pick up where I left off.
Right. Yeah,
basically, and vice versa. Never had any issues with you know how some guys don't do diapers.
Right. Yeah.
That
he was very involved.
Oh yeah. I made that clear. I was like, I did not make these 2 kids on my own, mate.
Right, yeah,
but I didn't even have to. He didn't even blink. It just came naturally to him.
Yeah.
And then. So do you want to go into pregnancies?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So my first pregnancy went well. Everything went smoothly. Great. Delivery was interesting.
Right.
Because I had to be induced. I was done, meaning I was like, she's cooked. Get her out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
I
done.
think a lot of people do that. It's sometimes after a week or 2 being overdue, you're just like, exhausted.
So, we had her, they had to, you know, they give you your first dose at 12, and then nothing was happening. Then at 6, little stuff was happening. And they were like, okay, when we go to give you your final dose, it may potentially happen in the middle of the night. So you have not slept. They gave me a little something to sleep. And Chris said that during that time, he could tell that my contractions, you know, he could tell with my face.
Oh, right. They were getting more intense.
Yeah. So I woke up and I'm like, yo, this isn't, I'm feeling different. So the nurse came in and said to Chris, you gotta leave. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Things are different. So she hooked me back up to the monitor. My contractions weren't what they would like before they whisked you off to the delivery room. So I said, yeah, but for real, like this is different. I have a high tolerance for pain. Right. So I wasn't exhibiting any signs of we gotta go. So she examines me. She's like, well, we're going.
Time to stop pushing.
Yeah. She was like,
it's a go.
Yeah. So I was like, really? So then, and then I'm like in foggy land because I'm not used to taking medications for stuff. So I'm in and out of sleep. And I was like, can I have an epidural? And Chris is looking at me. He's like, we discussed it. And I'm like, she's like, no, it's a little too late. I was like, well, I didn't want one anyway. Like, I was saying all this crazy stuff, right? So then we go in. Lindsay, I kept sleeping, falling back to sleep through everything. Chris had to like smack me with he's like, you gotta push. Like, what are you doing?
It's go time.
So it was great. I'm like, oh, this is great. I slept through the majority of all that. I pushed and then I'd fall back to sleep. And then, they wake me up. So, everything is fine. You go home fine. And then with Ellie, you know how that ended.
Whole different story.
Well, 6 months in, I fell off my front step and broke my
leg.
Yeah. And I was calm. I was most calm. Chris, I don't even remember. I swear he jumped over this railing to get to me.
Right.
Because next thing you know, he's there. My friend Nicole was at the house. She was giving Bella her Easter gift, and it happened. She was outside playing with her. I felt so bad. She was so upset, and I'm like, I think I just broke my leg. That's like she's like, how are you so calm about this? And I was like, well, my mom broke her toe
during this episode?
During this episode,
oh my
because
goodness.
We realized, okay, I gotta go to the hospital. It's really bad. And my mom was going back in to get her knitting. My mom.
So it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. So
we're sitting in the
we're sitting in the emergency down emergency in whatever room they put me in. Because what happened was they pulled up to the regular emergency, and then they told Chris to take me around to where the ambulance.
Oh, right.
So that they could take me in because I was pregnant.
Right.
And bless him. I think he's related to Michael. Oh. He just retired. The ambulance.
Oh, Uncle Ronnie?
Yes, he's the one that took me out of my car.
Oh, okay.
He was like, girl, say whatever bad word you have to say to me. I just yell at me, but this is gonna hurt when I pull you out.
Oh, funny.
So yeah, because I know this.
Yes.
And, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I had to have a rod put in. I had to have emergency surgery.
Mercy.
And try giving birth.
Wow.
With
a cast on.
Yeah. No, I didn't have a cast.
Oh, good.
No.
Okay, I understood the cast on.
No, I was hoping.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping, but
you were doing physio and all that too, weren't you?
Not for long, because my blood pressure spiked.
Oh.
By the time I had to be on bed rest for like 2 months, and then my surgeon was like, "Okay, let's start." But the minute my blood pressure spiked, I had to stop. So, and I think I was only there I was doing like 3 days a week, but yeah. But Chris, you know, he would take me, he would carry me down the stairs, and then carry me back up. So he was a huge support. Like now I have trouble with my leg. Like I told you, my leg was bothering me, and it still is. But last night was horrible. But he knew how to rub it. He watched, and so there's certain things that I'm like,
you definitely miss your teammate.
I miss him terribly. I'm just seeing all these people who are losing their partners and stuff, and it doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter if they're sick. It doesn't matter if they're not sick. It doesn't matter. Loss is loss.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a bit difficult for me. So
for sure.
Yeah,
and it's still quite raw with it just being a year, I think. And I can't say that 10 years down the road is gonna be any better, but like my dad passed away Tuesday will make 4 years now. And
already.
Yeah. And it's still kind of like sometimes there's certain things that just rip off that band-aid, and it's like, ow, that hurts still. That really hurts still. But yeah. But I guess, we learn to cope as best we can, really. Yeah. But it still does stuff.
He's a huge miss. He's a huge miss. So, all right, before I start crying, so let's go on to you.
Mine story is different in the fact that I did everything before I actually met my significant other. So I had my babies with other partners before that. And I remember having my third child and thinking, who is going to want a mom with 3 kids with, different dynamics, different dads? And I was like, not looking. I'm like, not doing it. I need to focus on my kids, myself. I need to, I was not looking at all. And it's so funny because they kind of say when you're not looking, it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And so I was not into men at all. I was just like, I'm done. I've had it. I just had my youngest. Yeah. So I'm like, I was busy waking up in the middle of the night, changing diapers, trying to deal with the other kids, like 3 kids on my own. Cause I was on my own. Well, I was living with my parents. However, that was a whole different dynamic because then you're with your parents, you're trying not to get kids and irritate the parents, and the parents are being grandparents and you're trying to be a parent. And it's just, there was a lot going on at that house. And then, I had my parents were elderly. So of course my dad was having his ailments. So we were navigating a lot in that house. So men were like, relationships, I was like, no, forget it.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out with my youngest's dad. So I figured that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. Not doing this anymore. So, and Jada was keeping me company. The other 2, they were only 7 and 9. So they still, even though they were able to do things on their own, they still needed me. And then the dynamic of a new kid was a whole nother thing that I was trying to deal with. And then I was trying to run a business through it all. So, so it was a lot. And so on Instagram, I happen to have Michael on Instagram, and we kind of were doing the I like your post, you like my post, I like your post, you like my post. So we're going back, and then at the bottom, you know, we were like, thanks for the Insta love, you know, just being dorks. But anyways, and then lo and behold, so that was Instagram, and then all of a sudden, ping, on Facebook, I get a friend request. And I was like, that's what made me giggle about this, because I accepted his friend request, then 5 minutes later, I got a private message. So, but those of you who don't know, I actually went to school with my significant other. He was several years older than me in high school. I was in grade 9 and he was in grade 12. And at that time, I thought he was very attractive, but seniors were out of my range, or out of my league, right? So, as much as I love to look at the seniors and how handsome they were, it was like, no, I'm a freshman, you know, blah, blah. Anyways, and he had a child.
I had some crushes in that grade.
Yeah. He had a child, and I thought it was so cute because he was such a good dad. And anyways, knew he was off limits, but you know, you can still admire when you're a freshman. You know, you think the seniors are all hot and stuff. So I knew him there. We went to school together. Anyways, backtrack to around 2014, 15. So Facebook request, then the message, and he's like, hey, haven't seen you so long. Because even though this is a very small island, I had not seen him since high school.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens, but you just don't cross each other's paths. You know, especially like he was living east, I was living west. So, and I was coming into town, and we didn't have really mutual friends. I didn't hang out like that. So, and he didn't hang out like that. So you just don't cross each other. And there's people I see on the street. I'm like, how is it that I have never seen you in my life? Yet we live in such a small island, but it happens. So I literally hadn't seen him since high school. And it was so funny because I had a boyfriend in high school, and he actually took me to Michael's house to go see the kids, to see his daughter. And because they were friends. Yeah. So I hung out there, and it's so funny because we joke about it back then, because I was with my boyfriend, he was with his girlfriend at the time, and we were just hanging out. Little did we know that many, many, many years later, we'd be in the spot. So, so we did the whole Facebook thing, and he's like, hey, I haven't seen you forever. I was like, I know, I haven't seen how you've been. Started doing the whole catching up thing. And I'm like, so you know I just had a kid, right? Like, you see the pictures? Yeah. Because I'm starting to, like, because he's starting to talk like he's, you know, interested in knowing me. And I'm thinking, dude, I just popped out a kid. I don't know how interested you really want to be right now. But so I was like, he's like, yeah, congratulations. I see you got 3 kids. You know, you look great. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Cool. Didn't think anything of it. So we kept in touch or whatever. And Jaden had to have been, bless my soul, people are going to think I'm horrible, but Jaden had to have been about 8-10 weeks old. And he's like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? And I said, sure. I said, well, look, just so you know, because I've got some kids, I got to bring at least one of them with me, right? Yeah. You know, like, I can't just pawn them all off on people. But so I had Jaden in a little stroller, and we went and we walked up Cooper's Island. And it was so funny because I'm like, oh, is a stroller, because I had never been up Cooper's Island. It was the first time. Lovely to walk. And I said, oh, is it stroller friendly? Yeah. Oh, you're stroller friendly, all right. So anyway, so I've got this little buggy going, right? And we're going and we're chatting, you know, we're catching up and getting to know each other again. And was not stroller friendly, and I was kind of not trying to bitch about it, but he was helping me, Bessie, pick up the stroller and then at one time I was like, oh, do you mind pushing the stroller? I've got I think I was getting hot and I had too much pleasure. He's like, oh, no problem. It was pushing the stroller, and I was like, I think that's the moment I fell in love with him, because he literally didn't blink. He was not judgmental about my situation. Like, because I was at the point too where, like, I'm pretty sure I blurted everything I thought he needed to know about me, because I'm like, well, this is the package. So there's no secrets. Like, I am, you know, I've had my past. I'm not ashamed of it. Here, this is who I am. Yeah. How about it? So bless him. You know, we went on several dates afterwards, and I want to say several months later, we made it official. And so pretty much the rest has been history. We dated for, I want to say 5 years before he proposed. Bless him. He was, you know, trying to save up for a ring and all this other stuff. And then he knew that I really wanted, you know, a certain way and stuff like that. And because I had been married previously, and I was like, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it, you know, the right way. So unfortunately, my dad I was hoping we were going to do it before my dad passed away, but unfortunately he passed away. And my dad passed away in February, and that kind of whole dynamic changed, and my whole perspective on life changed. And I was like, don't care anymore. Don't want to get married. I don't want anything. You know, I was so upset of everything, right? That just your whole life kind of, it's almost like someone just kind of spins your world and you look at it totally different, right? Certain things no longer mean something. Like I was looking at like just simple things, furniture, clothes. I'm like, none of this means anything. None of this means anything when you don't have the one that you love with you, like the people you love with you, right? When they're gone, you know, and then you think, you know, then you get into the what is this, what's life all for if you're just gonna die, and then you go into that kind of rabbit hole thing. But so anyways, bless him, he still managed to pull it off. So in August, another thing too is no one seems to ever be able to surprise me. Things always seem to go awry with the surprises. So for my 21st birthday, they were doing a surprise dinner. My dad had a heart attack on my 21st birthday.
Oh my gosh.
So the surprise dinner went out the window. They had to tell me about it. I still went because my dad's like, no, you need to go. I'm like, oh, am I supposed to celebrate when you're in the hospital or being flown out? And he's like, no, it's your 21st birthday, go, da-da. So yeah, and then another thing too is when I was pregnant with Kira, they had a baby shower for me. The guy at the front goes, hey, you're here for the baby shower? So that blew, it was, I'm telling you, my surprises never go. So I'm like, look, dude, you better work well on surprising me. Yeah. So I had my birthday, and he normally takes me out separately from family. The family get together. He normally likes to take me on my own to dinner. So we did it on the 17th, and we went to Lido, and that was actually, and I didn't even really think about it at the time, but he took me to Lido. Lido was actually like one of the main, one of the first dinners we had, right? When we were dating. We didn't think anything of it at the time, but sat down, and he seemed kind of off that day, and I just couldn't really understand why. And then he started eating dinner, and he's just kind of fidgety, and then I'm like, he's like, move your chair, and bless him, he was such an oddball at this time, and I'm going, what are you doing? I'm so confused. And at one point he started kind of talking. I'm like, are we breaking up? Like, I'm so confused. But no, he proposed, bless him. And so
in the restaurant?
In the restaurant, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was there weren't many people there, thank God. But I was like, it was so embarrassing. But I was like, it was so sweet because I actually did not see it coming. Did not see it coming at all. Oh, so that was finally a good surprise. And then we were supposed to get married the following year, but the pandemic hit, and then we wanted to the following year, and then the pandemic still was going, and the chaos between restaurants and people, it was just a mess. But
and I was like, when is the date?
Yeah, and I think afterwards, and then it came down to you can only have so many people in a party, and then it changed, and then it's like we're like, okay, well, if we invite 200 people, and then it gets changed to 40, when we say, oh, sorry, you're not invited anymore, so I'm just like, Michael, at this point, I was so over getting married. Like, I feel so bad for anybody who's planning anything during the pandemic because I was so over getting married. I was like, look, we're going to have to keep it small and intimate and just, we'll just have to go do it like that because I'm getting married. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm getting married. Let's just get it. So we did, and it was lovely. It was, it went really well. The day I remember I was so anxious going up to it because I literally had done everything. And Michael was just like, going with the flow and whatever happens. And meanwhile, I was like, is this right? Is this right? But no, the day was lovely. So, and it's been history ever since. So we got married last year. So this year, June, right? Will be our first wedding anniversary. But tomorrow is actually our 8-year anniversary of being together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So, and again, like you were saying with Chris, it kind of just flowed, right? And with him, it just flows and it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel, so I think in bits and parts of the relationship, I felt kind of anxious because it seems to be going so well. And I'm like, this isn't my norm. Mm-hmm. Like normally I'm having issues. And then I was like, well, maybe this is something new, something fresh. Maybe this is what you're supposed to be having. So, and I love the fact that he took me on with my kids. Like that obviously
that's going to be my, of course, obviously that's me. Right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, who's going to want me?
I had that, I had that after my first one, my second one, my third one. I was like, who's going to want me with?
But see, for
trust
me, well, you had your kids all the time, but I'm like,
you will.
I don't have a situation where my kids go to their dad. Mm-hmm. Like, they're with me all the time. I also, obviously, I'm not. Because, girl, the other day on Instagram, I must have liked someone's post from away. I got like 46 requests from all these guys. I'm like, these
Marcy.
people must be prisoners or something. You know, so I
know those, and then they message you, hello. It's like, goodbye.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yep.
it's whoever it is has to obviously be very secure with themselves because obviously I'm never gonna not talk about Chris. I may still cry over Chris.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I don't love that person. But you know, and I need them to also care about my children, but know that they're not gonna ever take the place of their dad.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
You
that's
know, like
and it's possible because I'm telling you, I really did not think with 3 kids, and I was like, this is not possible. I'm gonna die an old lady by myself, and
I'm sitting here like,
who
can I live with? Like,
I'm
gonna
here,
be like the real life golden girl.
No, I am living proof that it can happen. He literally, and I'm telling you, sweetheart, he took me. I'm gonna put my business on the street, but it is so 3 different children, 3 different three baby daddies, 3 very different situations for every one of them, right? So I have a daughter who has a father who was very involved, and then that kind of changed, and then he is involved, but she aged, right? So like him and I, when she was younger, would always keep in contact, right? And then she got her phone, she's a teen, so they communicate more than him and I do. And him and I only really need to communicate if it's like something really serious, right? The second one, that's a whole nother story that's non-existent. We'll leave that alone. We don't give that much time. And then the third one, he's involved, but there's dynamics there that are different. And he's there because my youngest is still so young. I'm constantly in contact with him, so you have to have someone that's, you know, that's strong enough, definitely within themselves, because they, you know. But I believe there's definitely someone out there. Like I'm living proof, and I literally thought there was no way in heck with my dynamics. And then it was the family, right? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this interesting family, and there's always something going on, and you know, there's a lot, right? Like when you think of it, it's a lot, and it's but.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
And when it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and I'm a believer still in that. So, yeah, I definitely think it's possible, darling.
Eventually.
Do not give up hope. Yeah.
No. Well, I'm not.
No. I know, but still, yeah.
I do know that is it's a situation because, you know, since I was 20, I guess 21, I don't know. I've always had someone. Yeah. Especially at night. You know what I mean? For 2 years, I was, like I said, I was single, but I didn't have kids. You know, like the level of fear, I guess, went sky high when I had kids. And now, without Chris, you know, I guess that's why I don't sleep at night, because I don't feel safe.
Probably, yeah.
You know. I don't know, but it's just like if someone ever breaks in like, so a couple weeks ago, some guy was pulling chase from a cop and decked out. Well, he decked out at the end of the avenue, and then picks my yard to, you know, run through, hide. Well, first he was hiding apparently, and then he ran through. So I was putting Ellie to sleep, laying with her in her room. Bella was in my room, my bed, and bless her. Jason, my brother, calls me. He says, "Is everything locked?" It's like 10 something. And I'm like, yeah. And he says, okay. Because explains the situation. Now my heart is in my throat, and I'm getting up and I'm trying to make sure everything, you know, I'm like, did I lock everything? And I'm going around, and Bella could hear me talking, and Bella goes, you know, I saw flashlights in the yard, but I thought it was Uncle Jason going to his shed. And I was like, and then she got scared. I know. And then she got scared, and so I just had to explain. I said, well, there was a naughty boy. He was running from the police.
Very naughty boy.
But you know, like, and then I had to stop myself, and I was like, but he wasn't trying to get in. He was just trying to flee.
You ever thought about an alarm system? Because you could do it for just your unit. For the whole house. Yeah, and it does windows and everything. Windows, doors.
I had to replace my front door because I busted it.
Oh dear.
One day I was quite upset at something. I don't even know what it was, but I busted it, and the whole thing split. So I had to call Chris. I was like, you have to come home. I split the door. So bless him, he came home. He left work. He came home. He was like, you did a number on this. And I was like, oops. So anyway, when he passed, everybody that was coming in was like, you need to have this door replaced. This isn't safe. So, so I did that. But still, sometimes it's a little, if I hear noises, I'm up and it's always the cats.
Right.
But, still, I'm like, what was that noise? What was that noise? So it's that thing. It's not this, it's the safety at night. Like I have been saying, I'm like, I wish I had like a best friend that was a guy that could just come and like stay the night on the couch. And nothing attached to the situation, but you're there to protect.
Just be the muscles.
Just be my security guard. Because I am.
If anybody's looking for a security job, she may be hiring. You should consider maybe an alarm system.
Yeah.
Because I felt my mom and dad were away a lot because of his health issues, and we had a larger home because it was all of us or whatever, and it was 2 levels, and it was definitely scary too. But then I found more security alarms. I really did, and I think that might help actually.
Yeah, well, this light goes on and off. You have that light, but
the sensor light.
Puff of wind.
I know they go for everything.
So then I'm getting up and I'm like, who's outside at 11?
It could be a cat, could be a lizard.
Yeah. So I know it's a lot, and I just want my girls to be happy. I want to be happy too, obviously. Don't get me wrong, but I this was not what I was planning for them. And then I have other issues that I was I had been mourning the loss of my student who passed away 9 months before. And that when she passed away, that was the first time my kids and Chris ever saw me cry. That Chris didn't know he did not know how to handle it. So he ran over to my mom, and it had just rained, so he slipped and fell flat on his backside. And I hear my mom going, Chris, and I thought, crap, he's had
something happened,
and I couldn't move. I was so crippled. Anyway. It was that I was dealing with that, So then when Chris happened, I haven't been able to get out of any of it since. So it's like, but I wake up every day. Like my doctor was like, I don't know how you did it. My husband went away for 10 days, and I thought I wasn't going to make it. She's like, I don't know how you get out of bed every day, and I'm like, I have to.
I know.
I have to.
Yeah.
But. I'm glad I was with him.
But definitely.
So, and I'm glad you found your.
Yeah, I think it was, like I said, I definitely don't lose hope. It's definitely, I was in a position where I was just like, it's just never going to happen. I'm like, who's going to want me with all this? And just, because it's a lot, right? Being realistic, but at the same time, like, if I do think, that everyone deserves happiness, I do believe everyone deserves to be loved, and,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And even after, not trying to hook you up right now, but at the same time, you definitely, I think, when you're healed and, you find your new kind of way in life, I definitely think you deserve to find that love again. You know what I mean? Like, you're an amazing person, you know what I mean? You're beautiful inside and out. You're so good with your girls, you're a great mom, and so you definitely deserve that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. This was a deep one.
Yeah. And it's almost an hour again. Sorry.
Yeah. We were going to try and just do 30 minutes, but as you can tell, Carrie and I could talk up a storm forever and ever. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Can't promise for a lighter one next time, because we will be diving more into the passing of Chris's passing, and how she was dealing with it, is still dealing with it. And if you have any tips, support groups, anything that you know of, please let us know. And we share these stories with you because we want you to know that you're not alone. No matter what you're going through, maybe be grief or divorce or motherhood or fatherhood or whatever it is.
It's not just mothers.
Yeah, you are not alone. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, it was a bit intense, and the next one is probably gonna be intense too. So just a heads up. We do have some lighter stuff planned in the future. Yeah. But life can be intense, and we don't want to run from that, right? Because we want to show you how we deal with it, how we know other people deal with it, and we're all in this game of life, right? Like everyone's just trying to, can't even say make it alive because you don't make it out alive, but we're all trying to make it, right?
We only got one shot.
And we all want to be happy, we want to enjoy life, and there's a lot of struggles that we go through, and we're hoping that sharing them with you will help you get through them. Yeah. All right.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.